doesn't mean I'm not appreciating and recognize service of public university. Public universities are the mother universities of all the private universities. At the same time, the contribution made by private university in terms of, especially in the area of research, in terms of publication, patents, authoring books, and other related activities, they are somewhat nowadays equal to public universities, and sometimes certain areas they have exceeded the public university as well. Why I am mentioning here? Yes, until last year, before I have taken charge as the Vice Chancellor, I am President of Asian Indian Universities. The entire 95 years, no importance has been given to the Chancellor of the private universities. Yes, all along all the conferences, only state university governors, the so-called chancellors of the state universities, were invited to the conferences like this. Why not? A major role being played by private players in the higher education. The chancellors of those private universities also should be invited, honored, and allowed to speak, allowed to give their thoughts. That was my intention. Keeping my intention to become a reality, for the last 5 zonal conferences, we are invited the chancellors of those areas of private universities. Now I had the rare privilege of inviting the chancellor of Ahmed University, Chennai, who is the chancellor of this Thiruvasagam also, sir. This is the way I would like to pay encomium and thanks to the private university, sir. My dear friends, we have spoken a lot about sustainable development goal, national education policy and all. Then all, I think now I feel enough is enough. At least give me some time to talk about what's the problem of higher education, what is the problem which are being encountered by vice chancellors today. That's most important. Going for this type of conferences, not only talking about themes of the conference, but also listening the vice chancellors and understanding the problems of the university and sharing those information among ourselves and taking the recommendation to the apex body. It is one of the major objectives of conferences like this. Keeping in mind, we vice chancellor are very much concerned about certain major challenges which are being faced by the stakeholders of higher education institutions. To cite a few, as per the report laid down in the present parliamentary session, there are 12 lakh Indian students are taking their academic and research programs in the universities in abroad, at UK, USA, Australia, China, Ukraine, etc. Whereas there are only 26,000 foreign students in the Indian universities. It is right time to think, analyze the reasons for why students of our own mother India are very much eager to go abroad. What is the problem? What is the deficiency in our system? Where we go wrong? That has to be analyzed first. Secondly, why foreign students, we are not able to attract foreign students? Are we lacking good quality in infrastructure? What about the quality of faculty? What about the infrastructure? What about the Indian higher education system? Everything should be analyzed. When we can be very happy, really much happy if the 12 lakhs comes to 100 or 200 and 26,000 should become several lakhs. That is possible all because of the change of system, Indian education system. Whatever national education policy 2020, whatever SDGs comes to us, that will not be the answer unless until we are going to provide education for our own students. That time will be the progress and the bright of the higher education we can see. That's number one. Number two, as per the statistics available in the report of the Bureau of Employment and Training of India, dated 30th September 2021, the conversion of graduates of Indian universities only 18%. What do you mean by conversion rate? When we send 100 students to attend an interview, only 18 students, the so-called employers tell, only 18 students are eligible to be appointed. What about the rest of the 88% of the students? Do you mean that we are sending every year 3 million students as the graduates? So out of which 88% of students are not at all useful to the community, to the society, to the world at all. Something goes wrong. Quantity is not important. Quality in terms of providing employable education is more important. The research labs, the investment crores, the infrastructure, they will speak about our quantity. But I want to see from my angle, unless and until we ensure 100% employability to all our graduates, our education system cannot be taken for granted. Lastly and thirdly, rigidity and contradiction in the policies and practices. Yes, NEP 2020 advocates the participation of industries in all the academic and research programs. We welcome it, sir. Without industry participation, no research, no success in academic program, and no incubation center, no startup. I do agree with you. We university vice chancellors are very much eager to bring all the industry people inside the university campus. Yes. Where is our workload? Where is our timetable? When AICT is coming, NAC is coming, UGC coming, what is your faculty student ratio? If you don't have this faculty student ratio, you will not be given any accreditation. You will not be given any grading. How can I invite the industry people? Industry people come in means let them spend some days, some hours in the campus. When it is the case, how can I give you a workload for the faculty? That and all, you have to think over it. Policy makers, they can design, they can plan, but they can preach. Please think about the practice. What I am telling, you think about putting faculty student ratio in a different manner. Yes, for industrialists, this much of hours. For faculty, this much of hours. This number of faculty is enough. That is the contradiction between the availability and need as well. Then few more thoughts. NEP 2020 is truly a path-breaking document in every sense. As far as vice chancellors are concerned, as far as AAU is concerned, we totally agree, we totally endorse, we are for implementing national education policy. The policy, among others, aims to address pedagogical issues, structural inequities, broadening of access, apart from making the learners future steady. That and all fine. I'm happy. At the same time, and for information, Aswaram India University formed a committee to study about implementation and the difficulties which are being faced with the vice chancellors. And all the vice chancellors, they have sent their answers through questionnaires, and the report is ready. And we have got the feedback from the government of entire state, entire country, that is also ready. The report is going to be presented with our Honorable Minister of Education, Sri Dharmendra Pradhan, in the middle of April. That will tell about where we want, what we want for the university to implement. Without funding, national education policy implementation, not at all possible. And it will be only theoretical. It cannot be practical forever. Without funding, single university cannot be become multidisciplinary university. University with the potential excellence can be only very few. Rest of the universities will be always under the category 3, 4 and all. Okay, sir. Finally, autonomy. Autonomy is most important thing. I spoke in the president's letters also. You policymakers, government authorities, give autonomy to the institution to to implement the NEP. Without giving autonomy, all the time giving something, when our paper goes, putting all restrictions, no, you are not eligible, you are not eligible, you are not eligible. Higher education, see, now there is for an example, before 2050, the GER should be 35%. Yes, we are for it. The GER cannot be increased by mere regular colleges, university. It can be achieved only through district education program. District education program mostly taken by rural people, poor people who are already working. Now the doors are closed by the government. How? Only category 1 universities, category 2 universities alone can offer district education program. How many universities, you know? Totally 34 universities. Out of which, what's the consequence, you know? It is just against the implementation of sustainable development goal. Sustainable development goal, what it tells, equity should be there. Everyone should be given education. All level people will be given education. When you have closed the door of district education, how everyone will come to under sustainable development goal? That is a challenge. Number 2, most of the public universities, they suffer due to shortage of fund. They don't have fund even to distribute salary and pension. It is all because of the restriction made by government of not allowing the public universities to run the district education program. This and all to be taken into consideration. That is one of the autonomy. I would like to, unfortunately, The present academic system of India and even the NEP 2020 do not give any such privileges to the universities. When we want to adapt and introduce several systems, programs like Western countries, the policy came as per the design given by Western countries. But at the same time, the Western country, whatever they follow for implementation, also to be carried forward along with the policy. Unless it's very difficult. Each one of the vice chancellors present here are convinced, committed towards achieving the goal of ensuring that the quality and excellence are at the forefront of sustainable development in higher education and will remain there for centuries to come. With these remarks, thank you very much for the opportunity given to me. Thank you very much all the vice chancellors who came from all parts of India and helped us, supported us to have this conference very, very successful. Thank you very much. Namaskaram, Vanakkam, Nandri.
Thank you very much, sir. We need more and more visionaries like Dr. Ramchandra, who explore new horizons to help the fellow human realms of health and education. I request Dr. Ramchandra, the guest of honor today, to deliver the address.
Honorable Justice Sri Huluvadi Rameshji, former Chief Justice of High Court of Madras and presently President Karnataka State Consumer Disputes Redressal Commission. Most respected President of Association of Indian Universities and Vice Chancellor of Ahmed University, Dr. G. Tiruvasagam, Honorable Vice Chancellor of University of Mysore, Professor G. Hemant Kumar, respected Secretary General of the Association of Indian Universities, Dr. Pankaj Mittal, Honorable Vice Chancellors, and of the Universities of India participating online and offline. Firstly, I would like to thank the AIU for having me to be the guest of honor at the National Conference of the AIU. Equally happy that I have been given the rare opportunity of sharing the dais with the former Chief Justice of High Court of Madras. I consider that it is my earnest duty to thank the AIU for one more valid reason for giving equal importance to the private universities by inviting the chancellors of the private universities, like inviting the governors of and chancellors of the state universities. I am standing in front of you as a representative of the private and deemed to be universities and specialized sector focusing universities as well. As you are well aware that there are universities focusing totally towards skill development and unique in nature like maritime, petroleum, fine arts and music, forensic in India. I belong to the Maritime University, which is the first maritime university and only one university under the Ministry of Education, India. I have promoted the university 27 years ago with 13 students. I have promoted the university now. The university which I promoted attained the height of having around 4,500 students. Almost all our passed out students are placed and sailing in various renowned international shipping companies all over. A few of them are top-level executives like managing directors and executive directors managing several thousands of ships with the international shipping companies in various parts of the world. Dear Vice Chancellors, sirs, in this national conference on realizing sustainable development goals through higher education institutions, you might have deliberated and brought out with the strategies for our universities to contribute to the efforts of United Nations of creating a sustainable world. The question is how our educational institutions can play a vital role in including the trends of sustainable development. Regarding the role to be played by the higher education institutions in achieving United Nations Sustainable Development Goals is concerned, as a Chancellor of University, I propose following. Social accounting. Social accounting emphasizes the notion of institutional accountability. It is an approach to reporting institutions' activities which stresses the need for the identification of socially relevant behavior. Sustainability reporting. A sustainability report is an institutional report to be brought out at regular intervals that gives information about economic, environmental, social, and governance performance of the university. Sustainability reporting is not just report generation of collected data. It is a method of internalize and improve a university's commitment to sustainable development in a way that can be demonstrated to both internal and external stakeholders. Higher education institutions must ensure a robust system for sustainability management and reporting with regards to transparency, traceability, and compliance. I am sure universities in India will turn out to be effective propellers of meaningful and powerful agenda of sustainable development. With sustained support from government and strong links with the community and our indigenous value system, we shall definitely be the major contributors to this global movement of creating a sustainable world. Lest we continue to give importance to important things, the students, the nature, and the humankind. As of 2021, India has over 1,000 universities with a breakup of 54 central universities, 416 state universities, 145 deemed universities, and 159 institutes of national importance. More than 50% of the universities are of the private and deemed to be universities. We strongly advocate the new education policy 2020, which is a landmark transformative initiative to address the immensely significant issue of inward orientation of the Indian higher education system. Further, to promulgate a policy framework for this internationalization that would go a long way, not only to improve quality of higher education in India, but also its reach and making it globally competitive. As a matter of fact, India aims to actively promote itself as the preferred global destination for higher studies, offering quality education at fraction of cost compared to the developed countries. At this juncture, I would like to make an appeal to the Ministry of Education and other apex bodies of higher education of India to pay attention on certain issues to facilitate both the public and private universities to adopt and implement the NEP 2020 and SDGs and plan for making the higher education of India globally competitive. One, all the category of universities may be permitted to use the word university without any mention whether deemed or private universities. Equality in providing grants and funds by the funding agencies. Flexibility to expand the scope of universities into multidisciplinary universities by permitting them to have off campuses or additional campuses beyond their city of location by not limiting them with ranking and accreditation grades. Expanding the scope of open and distance learning to all category of universities with flexibility in offering variety of courses. Providing more autonomy to the private funded or self-supporting universities. Regulatory agencies may encourage the universities to have increased ratio of visiting faculty, especially from industry, to provide more skill and career orientation to the students as envisaged by the NEP 2020. As I have mentioned earlier, universities are very much happy and encouraged with the provisions of NEP 2020. It must be pertinent that the goals of NEP 2020 shall be implemented with sincerity, for which all the category of universities are to be provided with what I said a moment earlier. Thank you once again to the Association of Indian Universities and University of Mysore for the invitation extended to me and also allowed me to share my thoughts. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you very much, sir. Justice Hulwadi Ramesh has delivered many landmark judgments. In one of the landmark judgments, he has a cryptic sentence. The Transport Department does nothing to keep the roads in good condition, but is interested in collecting tax. We need such justices everywhere to safeguard the interests of the common people. Now I request Justice Hulwadi G. Ramesh to deliver the valedictory address.
Good morning to everybody. I am proud to be here amidst you. It is my alma mater. I studied here my science education and basic education of law and master of law. To start with, my studies commenced in 1971 and 72. Here, to start with the Yuvraj College of Mysore University. Now, this is my privilege to be here as a student of law, commencing from 1977 up to so far. I feeling I'm still a student. I'm standing before you, all of the learned vice chancellors representing the various universities of India and abroad. And I'm happy that the organizer function obliged me to be here amidst of you. The Professor Loganathan, Madam Professor Pankaj Mittal, Jeet Thiruvanganam, Professor Justice J. Ramchandran, and all dignitaries on the dais and off the dais. Actually, our democratic system functions with this constitution, having the federal system. It is adapted for ourselves. This university is one university which is functioning as a pioneer university in the world. It commenced with a monarchy. That Maharaja of Mysore was a benevolent king who borrowed all the concepts and values of the humanities and the humanism. Now, whatever the principles we are been adopting ourselves as fundamental rights or the directive principles of state policies are already inculcated and followed in the India monarchy. Now, this is a model for the Indian democracy as well as federalism. And he was so benevolent, he is an architect, he was one of the great architects, not only on the side of the education and higher education, but also in building dams and providing basic communities like electricity. One of the oldest electric generation is in East Kingdom, near to the Mysore. It is one of the oldest of the electricity generation station. Likewise, the Mysore itself is one of the center of the human resources where we are striving for and preparing not only persons to work in the various fields, but also these universities have brought out many such resource persons. And these persons actually are the gems. Maybe gems or diamond is available in South Africa. In India, our universities are producing gems who are useful to the world at large, representing. One of the vice chancellors has expressed that we are manufacturing a human resource. And now either in China or in the world elsewhere, we have seen that our people went out of the continent maritime and they are proving themselves to be good human beings with all the knowledge and resources and human health. Actually, the federal system provides for distribution of powers between the state and center. The defense and foreign affairs and domestic affairs. These are the three things which are in the hand, and including the economics and the finance, is in the hands of the central government, and remaining important aspects are with the state government. Of course, we have seen the distribution of powers also to be accomplished with the distribution of economics. Because now the economics is centralized. It is to be, it requires further freedom to the states also to develop the education without there being a economics or finance. Individual development is not there. We have prepared the people in this country to rule not only for ourselves and to rule the world at large. We must proud to say that our brain drain has ruled in the world at large because of their movement from country to America or European countries or Western countries, and including all subcontinent people. Now, there are three things, of course. These needed to be followed. Yes, one of the jurists says, the fuller concept of values, morals, and ethics. It is a basic thing for a human being to retain ourselves in our daily life or in the family life or as a citizen of the country to keep the concept of values. First, value commences with the standards and morals. And it is imbibed in our divine power when we worship either God or our own belief of either parents. That belief should be carried out without any double standard or hypocrisy. We should not develop a hypocrisy for ourselves to be become more rich overnight. And our richness is our happiness and our human feelings and fellow beings. So when we develop with the concept of human resources and human rights, we have to respect the fundamental rights. The directive principles are there guided, are the part of the system and the governing persons to say that there are directions issued to the government to take care of the individuals and the public at large. And the power is vested with the responsibility, not with the very arrogance or dictatorship. Any power exercise is with all responsibility to see that our people are provided with the humility and respect for fellow citizens. 42nd Amendment included a word socialism in the preamble of the preamble to see that we are the democracy is not only the thing of people's freedom, but also socialism. What is socialism? Is everybody must have opportunity to reach higher standards, not only in the universities, even in the matter of the administration of the system. Our 75 years of old democracy will be strong and will be one of the model for the world at large in the course of time with our culture and our beliefs. We are tolerant, we are secular, and we are imparting education to people, not only with about only higher education of science, medicine, or technology, but also the moral education also required to be taught by the parents and teachers. And the universities have become the centers of education, not the parliament. And this parliament or the state legislatures where we are preparing people, they are all becoming only 40% educated, remaining 60% uneducated. But you being the professors, you being the vice chancellors of the university, you have to build a strong democracy and a strong leaders and parliamentarians. When you are giving them responsibility, they must feel that and they should act with responsibility to govern the system. Human resources is next to the defense. Now, except the Pakistan problem for India, there is no other major problem, but the amount invested on the higher education appears to be not even 5% of the total economy. Most of the amount being spent on various functions without there being any fruitful activists. It is not to record how much amount is spent. Now you see the people are bothered about the police or income tax people, other authorities. Because either the police or the income tax people, they are our servants. We are earning the amount and the police must respect a fellow citizen with respect and with all honor. They are our servants, they are not mad masters. If people are called, if a professor or the vice chancellor is called to the police station, he feel he is let down. Likewise, any income tax amount comes to your house, then you feel that you are a black sheep. That should not be the attitude of the government. Government is to respect the educated or any other person who are the gem of the system. And the way in which we are functioning, the way in which it is practiced, it is more autonomy or autocracy than the democratic form of government. Whenever there is anarchy, it is a totalitarian form of government. We want a government with a constitutional government to respect the human rights, and the responsibility of government is to act according to the directions given in Part 4 of the Constitution, which provides equal rights, human equality among the poor or rich, without there being any caste or creed. We have to be more secular, more democratic, more oriented towards humanism. And the concept of this equality and personal liberty is also one of the important aspects and enunciated in the human world, human rights, that we must first become the human beings. And also we learn with some morals, some values and ethics, that we keeping all these things, we have to become a man of world and not a man of place. And we must have the imbibe our human values and natural resources. And natural values or natural rights is available to every human being, like to any animals. Everyone has a right to free air and free nature and free environment. Likewise, see, we must ourselves have every available resources without their being polluted. So now we have come out with so much of problem. Nowadays the cities are there to provide employment and to stay with all residential freedom and residential movement. See, as far as the principle of nationalization during Indira Gandhi period, nationalization comes with an idea to provide speedy and efficient and inexpensive method of very economic activities and social activities. Without that, we are taking nationalizing everything. Railway is there, or any other systems are there. These are all continue to be national property. Of course, transport in private or for the other organization, or even the education, includes the medical education or engineering education or the general education with humanities. It's all now, as we see, this is only being one part of the government. It's responsibility to provide economics or the finance. How much amount is spent, it is by the policy makers. They have to be first educated. What is the how and how much amount is to be allocated to each of these important departments, as the agriculture and the education and the basic infrastructure like roads and railways. Every individual's enlargement and the knowledge, and he has to become a man with all the equipment of a human being to represent the world at all. Now our responsibility is, we are on the fast track to survive yourself, and you have to work on fast track basis. Just like in industries, they provide a overtime to maintain the industry unit survival, and also giving extra work for the persons to make some extra amount for their education or for their recreation. Likewise, this world with our population, we must be proud of ourselves. We are maintaining with self-sufficiency of this food and other things. In the span of nearly 40 to 50 years, we have become self-sufficient. Now we are trained ourselves. We have to become resourceful persons, including ladies and other people. One more thing is a lot of discrimination what we have seen. In advanced country like Switzerland, there's no voting rights to women. But India is otherwise. Now we are aware of the equal rights, even in the laws as for providing equal rights to the women, men in the property available as well. So far as intellectual property is concerned, this is an innovation of new innovation like a copyright. That is your right and property of whether it is a male or female, that whatever is invented, whatever you have discovered, it becomes your property or personal property. You can earn on that. So now the world at large, in a course of time, about 3 or 4 decades, world will be ruled by Indians, and we must be proud of our young generation, where parents are giving so much of importance with their knowledge, apart from the primary school teachers and the professors and the vice chancellor and the university and higher education level. To start with everything, commence with the private education. The government is monopolizing everything. Monopoly is not there to take over the things, but 50% of the things should be given to the persons who have built the institution to safeguard the community's interest, the people's interest, or local interest. The person coming from Kashmir, if want to study in Kashmir, in Karnataka, how much amount he has to spend. But people, institutions built there are all not getting, all India basis, they may have to go to Uttar Pradesh or to Meghalaya or somewhere else. But as far as possible, policy makers should see that apart from integration, what we needed is comfort and the economics should be taken care of. I mean, asking a Kashmir boy or a Himachal boy or Chandigarh boy to come and study either in Kerala or Tamil Nadu, it costs more burden on the maintenance and the sustenance. People are going abroad because our money value has come down. We must see that at one time, 1 rupee of Indian currency, much more valuer than the either dollar or pound. Now our boys are going out to earn money to sustain themselves and to maintain their families. So now, apart from the economics of the world economy, Indian economy has to is depending upon our brain drain. Our boys, either engineers or doctors or engineers, scientists, they're all bringing money from outside. There is also a source of income for us today. We have to sustain ourselves with rich agricultural lands, with rich rivers. We have to maintain the very basic needs of the hour. The maintenance is very much essential, either in the village life. Recently, we have come across this COVID problem. Is not only for India, it's for the world at large. Because these are food we are consuming with spices, we sustain the very problem of COVID. Apart from that, now we have seen the unrest in the north part of the world, that is between Ukraine and Russia. That is causing another side effects of the public peace and world peace at large. Now our temptation is there that we have to prepare human beings and we have to manufacture the human brains and all intellectual property holders. Must be aware of our rights, and we have to give equal respect and equal treatment. We have to give the responsibility to be borne by the government. Yes, it is very much essential to accommodate the private organizations who are building the private institutions and taking over the same, like the snakes are of course going and occupying the willows, which will be causing a part of problem to the public at large. By and large, our Indian economy has to become strong to see that our 150 crore people are to be sustained. And our brain drain is, though it is a loss to our own education system or development, but still we must proud that we are a ruling world. Our people are there either in England or in France or in American states. That they are all, apart from the education, they are also involved in the administration of the system. So we are becoming a universal persons. We are preparing, our universities are preparing a person with all full-fledged knowledge and full-fledged health and other human approach. What is more important for us is human rights and humanity, and another responsibility to shoulder and to see that the world peace is very important for us. We are not only bothered about India, we are bothered about the world peace and world rights, and technologies are being utilized not only for the public at large in India, to the world at large. We have to serve the cause of the nation and the world at large. You become a man of the world as a universal human rights, as one of the great poet of Karnataka, Pompo. His alma mater is my university. He is awarded with the highest award of on the literature, who preached for human being, world man. Vishwa Manava. Vishwa Manava means we must become individual of not only of the place or a particular locality or India or a country. We must become a man of the world. That is our Vishwa Manava principle. And we must enlarge ourselves with our thinking and our approach and treatment to the fellow citizens to protect the nature, protect the environment, protect the world at large. Thank you all.
The Honorable Justice has touched upon various burning issues which directly affect us on a day-to-day basis. We have to ponder over them very seriously. Thank you, sir, for your insightful valedictory address. Now I request Dr. Sisla Ramadevi Pani, the editor, to propose a vote of thanks. Dr. Pani, a trained career counselor, and she is on the panel of experts of Rehabilitation Council of India, and is an honorary consultant at some of the educational institutions in India and abroad. Now over to you, madam.
Thank you, Dr. Nagan. Yes, sir. Yes. So, as was instructed, honorable members on the dais and off the dais, I am doing away with the names and courtesies. We have come to the conclusion of this 96th annual meet of the Association of Indian Universities and the National Vice Chancellors Conference on an important theme, cosmic theme, realizing SDGs through HEIs. The meet was a great success, as we can see from the tangible recommendations. It is an opportunity and privilege for me to do the most important ritual of any conference, that is to conclude it through vote of thanks. On behalf of Association of Indian Universities, University of Mysore, and on my own behalf, I extend a heartfelt vote of thanks to all those who have made this meet a success. For this valedictory function, we are fortunate to get guided by the presence of Justice Huluwadi G. Ramesh, President, Karnataka State Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission, who brought laurels to the world of justice through his landmark judgments. We are enlightened and scintillated by your words of wisdom, sir. And it was very interesting listening to you. I convey our gratitude on behalf of the whole gathering to you. And I request Honorable President of AIU and Honorable Vice Chancellor of Mysore University to felicitate the chief guest with a memento. So we had, thank you for the felicitations. So we had the privilege of having one more stalwart as guest of honor for this valedictory function, Dr. J. Ramachandran, Chancellor Met University, Chennai, and we are thankful to him as well. And he was to leave, so we lost the opportunity of felicitating him. However, we will felicitate him at his own university through our president. For the mark in the history of AI. Not only for guiding for the individuals and deciding over this need, but also taking important decisions in AI to make it more vibrant and valuable. And on behalf of the whole gathering, I give you standing ovation. Vice Chancellors, felicitate.
It is an honor given to the Association of Indian Universities.
Sir. She is one of the vibrant, dynamic, and infinite women leaders. I see infinite potential in her. So I request Madam Pankaj Mittal to honor the registrar of the university, Dr. Shivappa. With a memento, of course. Thank you, madam, for the honors. I also request Madam Pankaj Mittal to honor the nodal officer of this meet, the dynamic Loknath sir. Yes. No, yes. Dr. Chetan. Yes, madam, I request you to felicitate Dr. Chetan, who had provided overall support for the meet. Thank you, Dr. Chetan. So felicitations are done. I continue with the sequence of vote of thanks, and I'm thankful to Honorable Vice Chancellor of this university for making marvelous arrangements for the meet and extending hospitality with heartful smile and affection. We felt as if we were attending the wedding of his son or daughter. We are very thankful to you, sir. I'm thankful to United Nations for providing us the logo and support in all the VC meets, zonal and the present meet also. I'm thankful to the authorities of universities of Mysore. And I'm very thankful to all the chairpersons of the technical sessions, Dr. Kavita Sharma, Professor P.B. Sharma, Professor P. Kaliraj, Professor G.D. Sharma, and Professor Timme Gowda, and Professor Sunil Rai for chairing these sessions so ably. I'm thankful to the heads of apex bodies, Professor Bhushan Patwardhan, Professor Anil Sahasrabudhe, Professor K.K. Agarwal, and Professor R.C. Agarwal for interacting with the vice chancellors. I'm thankful to the international delegates, Professor Dr. Ponchai, Professor Hiliji Vantland from IAU, Professor Amiya Bhaumik, President Lincoln College, Malaysia, Professor Keith Robert Thomas, University of Technology, Mauritius, Professor Bola Thapa, Kathmandu University, Nepal, and Dr. Aditya Malkani, Association of Commonwealth Universities. Indeed, we had versatile speakers. I'm thankful to all of them. Professor Rajita Kulkarni, Professor Rajan Velukar, Dr. Yogesh Suri, Dr. Jayanti Ravi, Dr. C.B. Sanjeevi, Professor M.K. Surappa, Professor K.S. Rangappa, Professor Vibha Dhawan, Dr. Anup Mudgal, Professor Rajendra Shende, Dr. Ashok Khosla, Dr. Sudesh Kumar Sohani, Professor Dinesh Singh, Dr. Rajesh Tandon, and Dr. Vaidehi Vijay Kumar. I'm very happy to see the overwhelming response for this meet. Many of the vice chancellors could attend the meet physically, and many have attended the online, and because of which the credit goes to them for making this meet a success. I'll be failing in my duty if I do not thank the individuals who have worked to make this meet a success. In this sequence, I thank Dr. Shivappa, Registrar of the University of Mysore, for his continuous effort. And of course, I owe special thanks to Dr. Loknath, Professor of Physics, University of Mysore, for his and for his team for coordination of this meet. I'm thankful to Professor Naganna for so wonderfully anchoring these inaugural and valedictory sessions. And I'm also thankful to Dr. Asna Uruz for taking care of all these technical sessions. Taking care of the dais and anchoring as well. And I'm thankful to Dr. Geeta for chairing the second technical session. I am thankful to Mr. Prajwal and Abhilash of Abhinava Events Mysore for making all the arrangement, making our stay comfortable. Stay and transport and everything, the technology and everything. At AIU, we had Dr. Alok Mishra and Mr. Vijay Kumar, Mr. Satyapal, who are Vijay Kumar and Satyapal were in fact de facto coordinators of this meet. I'm highly thankful to them, Vijayendra and Satyapal. I'm thankful to Rekha, Yogita, and all those staff who were at AIU working in the background to make this meet a success. I'm thankful to Dr. Aparna for preparing the report, and Dr. Ramchandra Kini and Dr. Shubha Gopal for assisting her to make this report, and Dr. Loknath for presenting the report. I'm thankful to all the members of various committees, advisory committee, organizing committee, transport, reception, hospitality. And in this sequence, I thank Dr. Chetan again for overall support, and Mr. Chandra Nayak also for being everywhere, wherever we want. Thank you, Dr. Chandra. I thank the university for the very interesting cultural evening, very sumptuous food at the all the occasions, especially dinners, we literally enjoyed, and the sightseeing arrangement. We are very, very thankful. We'll remember Mysore for this. Yes, sightseeing that includes Chamundeshwari, Vrindavan Gardens, and I think we'll be taken today to Mysore Palace. I'm thankful for all that. And this particular meet will be remembered for the Mysore Declaration. This is the second declaration in the Mysore. Earlier we had Mysore Declaration on internationalization. And Mysore has become very important in the history of AIU. It will be remembered every time whenever we go through our history. Once again, I state that I'm most grateful to one and all who are involved in this meet. And I'm sorry if I had left anyone. I'm sorry to all the person standing there and the person who is taking care of technology, everyone. Heartfelt thanks to one and all. Media people, yes, they gave a very good coverage. Thanks for reminding me. Media people gave a very good coverage. I'm thankful to all of them. Some must be here also. I'm thankful to you all. I'm thankful to one and all. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
We are coming to the end of the program. I once again call upon Shravanti, Kalyani, Manasa, and Deepika Krishnamurthy, along with their teacher, Mrs. Surya Prabha, to present the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंधु गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल वंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे थैंक यू
I request all of you to adjourn for lunch now. Thank you.